Hey Explorers, I am Jessica, and today on Exploring the Local Life, I'm coming to you live from Colorado. And today I'm going to talk about what you do, what happens. Nadia's in the background, obviously, kids are here. But what happens when you want to travel full time, your spouse, significant other, partner, whatever you want to call this person. I'm going to probably call them your spouse or your husband and wife, but I'm including everybody, anyone that you want to take on the road with you that's saying, no, I don't want to go. So how do you deal with that? What do you do? Nadia doesn't know. So I'm going to tell you guys, and Nadia too.
I don't know.
Oh, and another thing, of course, come in the chat. What is this? When does this live stream start? It started right now, Keith. Started right now. So if you're here, come in and say hey and tell me where you're coming from. And of course, if you have any questions, I will be here to answer them. Super chat is enabled. So if you want to leave me a little tip, you can do that using super chat. So basically,
Mom, that's what.
It's fine, Nadia. I'm doing a live. I need you to.
Wait,
doesn't matter. All right. I need you to go play quietly or go outside. All right. So you want to travel. Your significant other does not. So what do you need to do? Some of the things that you need to absolutely remember is that you cannot control another person. So if you're in a relationship with somebody, especially if you started this relationship, long ago or whatever, you can't force them to go with you. You cannot force them to do anything. And any type of manipulation. Hey, Keith, welcome from Nashville, Tennessee. Don't try to manipulate the situation or anything like that as well. That just leads to other problems. It's still you trying to control this person, and that is not going to work out. That is not what you want in this relationship. This is not how you want to start your travels. So what do you do? Oh, another thing to keep in mind is that your significant other, they have reasons for not wanting to do this. Okay, it's not just that they don't want to do it because they don't want to, whatever, that they have some valid reasons, and you need to hear them out. Hello from Taylor, Texas. Welcome. Welcome. So what do you need to do? What do you need to remember? Where do you start? First off, you need to talk. You need to go in and with an open mind, not like anger or anything like that, but just have an open conversation with this person. You either want them to come along or you want to figure out a way that you can work this out so that you guys are both happy. So that involves a lot of coming to the table, making yourself vulnerable and talking about your feelings. What is happening? Why do you want to travel all the time? And then finding out, of course, why your significant other is not interested in full timing. What is going on with them? It may be something that can be, that they're like, oh my gosh, absolutely. I want to travel. Never mind. I changed my mind, and you go for it. Or they may just really either have like a job that they really are dedicated to. They have a company maybe, and they're just not willing to, stop that right now. That doesn't mean that they don't love you. That doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that they're not able to go on the road right now. So what do you do? Of course, you have to look at your own feelings and why you're doing this. Have you already been, trying to get on the road for some time? Have you, hi, I need you to not be in frame. I love you. Thank you. Or, have you already been stationary for some time and you just feel like you need to move, like you can't? I mean, for me personally, I'm going to speak from my personal experience and experience with Robert. I do not like to be stationary for long periods of time. Probably around 3 months, I start getting really, really antsy, and I just really want to get on the road and travel and explore. But of course, Robert has this job right now where he has to stay stationary. So what does that mean? How do we make this work? And, for me, I'm just really not happy when I'm not traveling around. So that is why right now, as you can see, Robert is actually right now back in Georgia working. And what we do is, I'm on the road and he comes and joins me on his days off. And that is actually like one of the options you can come up with. Like you can do some sort of like where the person that wants to travel all the time goes and travels, where the person that either wants to stay stationary or right now cannot travel will stay behind, but we'll meet up along the way. I'm fortunate, and Robert and I are fortunate that we have this awesome, he works 4 days on and then he's off for 4 days. And he does have the ability to come every 4 days and come see me. And that is wonderful. It may not be that frequent for you and your significant other if you're trying to work this thing out. So what does that mean? Can you do that? Are you comfortable doing that? Is your relationship strong enough to do all that? It's a big thing, but it can be done. And even another thing that can be done, if you're not willing to have one person in the relationship travel full time while the other one stays behind, meeting up along the way on, days off, holidays, things like that, you can always do some sort of like part-time travel. That's another, you're going to be compromising. Like with Robert and I, he took 6 months off. So during that time, he wasn't working at all. And we went from Florida all the way up to Maine. And it was awesome. I was still working. We were traveling full time, but it was for a 6-month period. After that, we went back to being stationary and coming up with another plan of how we can do a little bit more traveling here and there without him having to give up his job or, having that, I guess, more structured life that he actually enjoys versus me not enjoying it. But here, the biggest thing is that we're willing to work together, work this out, and do what works for both of us. It would not be fair for me to go, you need to quit all your stuff. Not cool. Okay. Because he's really enjoying it and I love him. So we work it out. We make it work. It's not always easy. I'm not saying all these things are like, oh, this is fantastic. I do have notes, so please excuse me as I turn the page. So another thing that you can do is, let me see, look at my notes. No, that's pretty much it. The other option is to not be together anymore. And I just, that's like a really hard line. And it's sort of like, well, isn't there a way that you guys can compromise? Isn't there a way that you can make it work? If you're together, I'm really committed to each other. Isn't there a way that you guys can both be happy and do things like that? And, the reason that this even came up, it is what we're doing, Robert and I, right now, where we're working out this whole, he's back in Atlanta working and I'm out here in Colorado exploring. I'm still working, of course, but, traveling and doing that. And he comes and meets me. But, it also came up in another, in a group on Facebook where people were asking, hey, what do you do if your significant other refuses to go with you? There are decisions that need to be made. But I was actually kind of shocked and surprised at the number of people that said, divorce him, leave him, be done with it. And, there's other ways of, being creative with your travel, being creative and flexible. Of course, you have to have both people involved. If you are being flexible and excited and willing to do all these things and your significant other is not, I get it. It's going to be a lot harder and you really need to make some decisions about what you want to do with your future. Hey, Jessica, thanks. You're saying that we're doing a good job. Good to hear that we're working it out. Absolutely. I love my Robert. I did not marry him to be traveling. I married him to be with him. But I also have this absolute desire to explore and, see the country and do all these things. So we're working it out. He's, we're comfortable in our relationship. We know we see each other every 4 days and that is awesome. I don't know if I can go more than 4 days though. So there's all these things to be worked out. And if you're in a similar position, that's what you need to do. Sit down, talk about it, and really just make yourself vulnerable and put out there your heart's desire. And also reiterating that you love and want to be with this person, assuming that you really do love and want to be with this person. So don't, call it quits right away. It is an option, but, for Robert and I, it's not an option. The other things are options. Or at some point, maybe he's able to travel full time with me as well. So we'll see. We're working it out. But I just wanted to come out here. I felt very strongly about it. And wanted you to know that there's different ways. It's never perfect. It isn't. But it's worth sticking it out and working through it and be able to do what they want to do. But I wanted to open up. I've got a few people on. If you wanted to ask any questions or anything, to hop on in. And of course, if you, hey, Theodore, thank you. If you are watching this on the replay and you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And I will, of course, get back to you, or Robert will. And we will answer whatever questions you may have. I mean, we don't have all the answers, but we are experiencing this and going through it and doing things a little bit different, We are not the only ones doing this. I did when we were, when I was looking in that group and there were the responses, there were some people that were also traveling while their spouse was somewhere else and they would meet up. And, even though we're doing this at first, when we started started talking about it, I wasn't comfortable with the idea of not being with Robert for 4 days. But when I really thought about it, he does work 4 10-hour days, which are very long. And I don't actually see him on those days. Like, he's gone and working before I even wake up. And then when he comes home, he basically like waves at us. Maybe he'll eat something and then he goes to sleep. So I was like, well, actually, this might work really well. And we gave it a try and it's been working really well. Hi, Theodore. You're asking if I like boondocking. And then you want to try to do it, but you're scared about safety. What do I think? Robert and I have done boondocking. We have done some free campgrounds with no hookups. And then we have also done like out in the middle of nowhere dispersed camping. And that has worked out really well. Thank you. As far as safety, we haven't had, any issues with that. We have gone and done a little bit of research on the locations beforehand. We use freecampsites.net to kind of navigate and see what's available out there and look at reviews. If there aren't a lot of reviews, or if it's kind of like some people have had some issues, we immediately just kind of like skip over that and look for something else. Another thing is when we can boondock with others, like right now, I'm with the cast and crew of the RV Nomads movie. I'm also a cast member, but we're all here boondocking on like the top of a mountain, and it's been great. Anytime I need anything or we need anything, everyone's here to pitch in together. So if you can actually caravan and boondock with somebody, that's awesome. Or, research and find out. And of course, if at any point you feel like something is up, leave. You have a mobile home. Leave. Don't stay and chance it. Let's see. Hey, Jerry. You respect couples that honor their vows. Yes, we are committed to doing that. And I know, sorry, it's like very windy out here and I'm getting kind of blasted by wind. We're committed to doing that. Thank you. Staying together. How long have we been doing this? Mark, we have been on the road for 2.5 years. And by on the road, I mean in the RV, traveling when we can. And I would say since probably, I'm going to say April, we have been where I've been traveling and Robert has been coming out and meeting up with me and the children. Let's see. Jessica's asking, are you guys going to be campground host again? It seemed pretty awesome. Jessica, we have applied actually to be campground host again at the same location we were at. And I think that's probably going to work out. We'll see how everything goes. We are doing filming a television show at the very end of this year or maybe early next year. So that might complicate the campground hosting. We may or may not do it. And again, that does require us to commit to 3 months at least of staying stationary. So we'll see how that goes after having a little bit of flavor of traveling for quite a few months. I don't know if I can do it, stay stationary again. We'll see how it goes. And let's see, Judy's asking where I am right now. I am currently in Colorado. I'm in Salida or Salida. I don't know. My brain says Salida because Spanish is my first language, so I automatically pronounce it like that. And Theodore gave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Well, guys, if you guys don't have other questions for me, I may be popping off. And my children are running around, and as you can see, they were very much here and involved in the video. And you're going to be kind of on your own while your spouse is somewhere else. There are other considerations, of course. This does make it so that I can't just pull in wherever to an RV park. I can't just stay. Not saying that I would with Robert, but if I have him with me, I don't have to do as much research. I feel, I do have to consider safety and those types of things. And also the fact that there are certain things that I'm not, I can pretty much do everything, including hitching up, but I'm not 100% comfortable like moving the RV long distances and doing that sort of thing. So those become considerations. It's not that easy. Boy, Jessica asked me, what is light to RV? Wow, that is a really big question to try to answer. For me personally, it means adventure and freedom. It means expanding me, who I am, growing and learning, meeting new people. For the kids, it's experiencing, my goodness, so much. They get to meet people all the time. They get to see different places, different things. They're learning hands-on. They're adventuring too, you know? And I think for Robert, it means being together, and it does mean adventuring. Even though he's not here all the time and he does have a stationary job, the appeal and adventure and travel and learning is something that draws him as well. Of course, there's days like where you have to deal with, like, I don't know, empty propane tanks. You got to change those out. You deal with cruddy weather and trying to figure out like where you need to go. Are you safe in your RV with the weather? Contingency plans. You have to dump your own tank. It's not just like in a house where you flush it and you never have to think about your waste again. You carry it in with you. Even if you have full hookups, you still are very much aware of that. And that's kind of a different feel. Of course, of smaller space, you have to think like a minimalist and make some serious conscious decisions about your life, really. Hey, Jessica, so you're saying you really want to go with your family. You're trying to save to get an RV sometime. What? Sometime Canada truck. It's so fun. Oh, when you go camping in your truck. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun. And if it's something that you definitely want to do and consider, I say I'm always one for go for it. Because you don't really know what it's going to be like until you're actually in it. And you might actually find out that it is not for you. And that's okay, because you actually tried something that you were interested in and that you were curious in, and you went for it. And if it didn't work out, big deal. Go back to your own life. Say, hey, we tried it. It didn't work out, but at least I tried. And that, to me, that's like the biggest thing. Hey, John, let's see. You are another state other than Texas, from Washington State. Welcome. We do homeschool the children, although we do something that's a little bit more like unschooling, where it's child-led learning, and it's a lot less like, all right, today we're going to open our books to page 5, and we're going to be in here, I don't know, for 3 hours going through all this stuff, workbooks and things. It's not that. It's a lot more natural and, you know, something that the children are interested in and that appeals to them, and it's just kind of natural everyday life learning. It isn't separated out like we're going to learn here today and then we're going to live our life over here. It's all integrated. And they're actually both enrolled in a umbrella private school in Florida. Hello from Denton and hi from Florida. I have a big Texas following. Why is that, Mark? You know, we did spend some time in Texas. We were filming the RV Nomads movie in Wellington, Texas. So maybe some people got really excited that something like that was happening in Texas and in a small town like Wellington. And also the movie is actually going to premiere in October at Nomad Fest, which is also in Texas. So maybe that's why there's a big following. I don't know. That's probably my best guess on that. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and head on out and spend some time with my kiddos. And please let me know if you have any questions and if you have any concerns specifically about RVing and wanting to RV when your spouse, significant other, partner, whoever you are with, is not interested. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say goodbye to Eric from South Carolina that's full-timing in an awesome schoolie. Love schoolies. Maybe one day. Maybe. I don't think Robert wants to do that, though. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. And I'm ending.